But I want to talk about a couple of key things. Okay. I think that for whatever reason, we spend the least amount of time working on what I argue is the most important thing. Because I make the argument, Ren, I want your opinion on this. I think that regardless of skills over the phone, if you make enough contacts, you'll get an appointment. But I think you have to have a ton of skills to convert and get a contract signed because they're committing to such a big thing, the seller is, right? So the interesting thing when it comes to the listing appointment is, especially the last couple of weeks in our conversations, is we probably have to shift a lot of our practice time into the presentation. I just posted a live role play I did with one of our members on his entire listing presentation on my YouTube channel. You guys should go watch that. When I recommend to you guys, do your listing presentation on camera with your role play partner.
Yeah, video recorded. Yeah, you'll see the confidence or your lack of confidence in your body language. What is your body language saying?
That's right.
It's a big piece.
And it's not just the words. I want all of you to go watch that video coaching I did with Joshua later, right after this call, because you'll go through that and you say, okay, wow, he knows the script. Okay. But you'll see the feedback I give him at the end of the presentation. And you'll say, oh my gosh, that makes a lot of sense. It's all in the how. Okay. You're not going to just stand up, have your script and just read it verbatim and the seller's going to sign the contract. Never going to happen. Okay. So you're going to notice, Jen, did we post the newer version of the script book just yet?
No, not yet. I will.
All right. So we've made we've clarified some of the scripts because I know there's been some questions lately, but when it comes to the listing appointment specifically, we changed step 1 and step 2. Step 1 is setting the agenda. You sit down with the seller and you say, Melissa, there's really only a couple things I want to go over with you today. I want to walk you through exactly my plan to get your property sold for a premium. And then I'll break down how all the numbers work so you can get a good idea of what you're going to walk away with. And then, Melissa, at the end of this meeting, we can simply decide if working together to get the property sold makes any sense or not. Does all that seem reasonable, right? That's how you start off every single listing presentation. You want anything to that?
I think it's a beautiful one.
Okay, so that's called your trial close. This is the first words out of your mouth. And so the seller, why do we do this? Put it in the chat. Why do we do a trial close? There's only one answer. It's to pull resistance. It's to pull the objections. That's right. That's exactly
right. And your future pacing, how this is going to go down. They've already got it in their mind. Okay, this is what its agenda is.
That's exactly
and I
right.
like that.
Yep.
Right.
And that's why we call it setting the agenda.
And you had a tie down at the end of that. So it basically is creating certainty. It's like, okay, I'm in agreement with what you've got planned.
That's right. It's beautiful. It's a great way to set expectations. Step number 2 is then when we get into discovery. So Keith, tell me, what is your biggest concern with moving? And now you allow them to throw up on you because listen, the one listening is in control. The one talking is out of control. Remember that as salespeople, okay? I think we lose that too often. It's like, what do I say? What do I say? You don't need to say shit. You need to shut your mouth and listen. That's what you need to do. So you need to ask more questions, shut your mouth. God gave us 2 ears, 1 mouth. Shut your mouth and use your ears. That's what you need to do more of. Okay, so that's the discovery piece. Then you can get into what I believe is the most important part of the listing presentation, which is the CMA presentation and how I've taught all of you guys to do that. And once you guys can do that, then you can get into the value proposition presentation, which is the next step, followed by the net sheet presentation, which is the next step, followed by asking for the business. So it's a very straightforward, no BS way to get listings signed. You just have to figure out each step of that and be able to deliver that with absolute conviction, with absolute confidence. And you're not shaking in your boots, that it's very believable. Anything you want to add to the listing presentation? Because I want to flip to follow up.
I was looking at the format and it's perfect.
Yeah, beautiful. So let's talk about another big problem we all have, which is follow-up. We got sticky notes everywhere. You got, lipstick sign on the rear view mirror. Oh, call Bob tonight. Lead follow-up is, this is super important for you guys, is 70 to 80% of your income, contracts, appointments are going to come through lead follow-up, not the initial contact. Let's lose the obsession with, oh, shoot, I didn't get an appointment on the first contact, Ren. I suck at this. No, you don't. It's natural to build a pipeline, and then your future appointments come through follow-up.
Yeah, and with lead follow-up, it's not just a check-in call. Just
That's
checking
right.
in.
Thank you.
Right. And how do you have them do that?
All right. So for all of you that are new here, okay, you're going to be if you make a prospecting phone call, okay, and you don't get the appointment, we're going to go for the appointment first, okay? But only about 20% of the time are you going to get that now listing appointment on contact one. So 80% of the time, Arthur, on contact one, you need to be doing step 2 in the prospecting waterfall, which is generate a lead. When we generate a lead, what are we doing? We're putting them on the weekly MLS email, okay? So what we do in the follow-up call is we're referencing the MLS email. So Melissa, let me ask you, did you see the new house that just hit the market last night across the street and how that impacts your property? That's the follow-up call foundation. And then we're going to tie that foundation into the most important thing in selling a home, days on market. So Keith, okay, and you can tie everything back to timing, okay? When we talked before, you mentioned that you wanted to move an X time frame, or if they're for sale by owner, we talked about if you can't get the property sold in 14 days, you'd be open to giving me an opportunity to interview for the job to get your listing, okay? So that's the foundation of follow-up.
So you're bringing value to the call.
Always.
Then you're you're reminding them of their initial motivation to sell. Then you're closing after that.
That's exactly right. Yep. So that's kind of our 3-step process.
Perfect.
Now, in addition to that call, certainly there's some other things that you guys should be doing, okay? If I generate a lead, listen, you got to add them on social media. Stop trying to keep this life separate from this life, okay? Your best opportunity to convert is when a human being knows that you're a human being. So we've got to add them on Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn immediately. We have to engage with their posts and say, wow, Keith's an actual real human being. He doesn't seem like such a bad guy. You start to separate yourself from the competition. Sending them a video text. Melissa, it was great talking with you this afternoon. I'll look forward to staying in touch with you. If you need anything between now and the next time we talk, don't hesitate to give me a call. Okay, we have our weekly email. We have our weekly direct mail campaigns going through Mailbox Power. Okay, and so we have our Friday text message. We have all these things that we've taught you guys to make sure that your lead follow-up is one of the strongest pillars in your business, because most of your competitors, their lead follow-up pillar is next to nothing. I mean, it's probably the biggest hole in most realtors' businesses. And you see it more on Vulcan 7. I mean, lead follow-up is probably the biggest hole ever.
There's just no consistency. And if you're consistent in making your calls, you can put that in. Just make sure it's a 5-day-a-week process.
That's right.
And you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because it really compounds. If you're sporadic, you're like, well, I got this buyer, they're buying $2 million house. I've dropped everything.
Yeah.
Well, you've dropped everything.
Yeah.
And you go like that, and you got that one sale, and that's it. Maybe you got that one sale.
Yeah. All right. So cool. I want to save some time. I want to open this up for some questions, Jen, because listen, it's not every day that you have Ren Jones, the creator and founder of Vulcan 7, with you. And so I want to make sure that we respect his time and your guys' time. So let's open this up, because you guys have so many great questions about prospecting, about lead generation, about this or that, whatever you guys want to talk about. I want to open these up. So Jen, if you want to go through the chat, because Ren and I are sitting pretty far from the computers and it's hard to see them. Is there any questions in there that you can read out to us?
Yep,
or if you guys have any questions, raise your Zoom hand.
I'm going to bring on Kelly. She sent a couple questions. Hold
Beautiful.
on.
Hey, Kelly.
Kelly, if you want to unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me? Is it echoing?
We got you now.
Okay, great. I just have my speakers on. I didn't know if it'd echo. My main questions were, I just feel like I'm not getting this down right. I barely have any for sell by owners or even expireds in my area, and they're all for rent by owners. And I just seem to, everyone just saying they're not interested in selling. And when I'm not exactly sure what value proposition I have to offer to get their interest in maybe hearing more about the market, because I know right now it's at the high that it's ever been, but I'm not sure if that really matters to them because they can still keep getting rent and they believe it's going to keep going up.
What market are you in?
I'm in Los Gatos, California,
Gotcha.
in Silicon Valley.
Gotcha.
So let's talk about it. So Kelly, you emailed me, and just so you guys know, I'm going to be going live in our Facebook group at 3:30 today to answer all of your questions that came in over the weekend. So let's talk about this though, Kelly, with you. So specifically with the for rent by owner, I'm going to give you some other pieces of advice when you talk about value proposition or what to offer. Think about this for a second. Who is your home and auto insurance through right now, Kelly?
Oh, right now I'm renting, so I don't have one, but
You have auto insurance through somebody?
Yeah. I think it's just Geico.
All right, watch this. Watch this. So let's pretend for a second we're in the insurance business. And I call you, okay? And I say, Kelly, this is Brandon with State Farm. I understand your insurance is with Geico. I'm curious, if we could give you the same coverage and cut your cost by 50%, would you be open to at least hearing about it? And be honest. Now, let's bring that into real estate. You call it for rent by owner, okay? Their plan is to rent the property. Fine, great. Mr. For rent by owner. Obviously, the market in California is at an all-time high. We've never seen values this high in the history of real estate. I'm curious if you can get an offer that's ridiculous. Would you be open to at least seeing what your home would sell for? And Kelly, be honest. And so the approach is getting them to the CMA point of the conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
So in our for rent by owner script, we say, Kelly, why don't we do this? Let's not agree to anything right now. Why don't I email you over a quick price analysis to show you, to actually, so you can see how much the home would sell for. And then Kelly, you can decide if selling the home now makes more sense than renting it out. Fair enough? And so a lot of those people are going to say, okay, yeah, I guess, Kelly, let's see what you have to offer. That's the point of contention for a for rent by owner. Does that make sense?